Hi, beloveds. This is Tamala, your empowerment partner. And I'm really excited that you decided to join me today so that we can talk about this really important topic of why empaths feel stress and how we can release it. Because as empaths, we are uniquely designed to absorb energy from wherever we are. We absorb energy from people, from places, from our environment, from food, from other people who are having experiences around us. And so, what can happen is we can actually absorb those energies, those feelings, those emotions, those thoughts into ourselves. And then what happens is we begin to feel those things, think those things, and begin to believe that those things belong to us, and they don't. And they also increase our stress level. It is difficult for an empath without boundaries to be able to maintain their stress level because all of this information is coming in and coming in and coming in and coming in. And it feels like you're always constantly being assaulted. Basically, that's what it feels like to me. I feel like I'm being assaulted, like things are just whacking at me all the time if I don't have my boundaries up. And that feeling of things kind of assaulting you or attacking you can lend to the opportunity for your stress level to increase, for um, your depression to expand if depression is something that is in your experience. It also can allow that to expand, and it can create opportunities for you to be influenced by stuff that doesn't belong to you. And as empaths, we have to be really, really careful about the things that we are allowing into our experience because they will shoot our stress level through the roof. And when the stress level goes through the roof, then we don't have the kind of ability and access to be aligned and congruent as we would if we were not stressed. Because, just like everyone else, when we get stressed, our decision making isn't nearly as clear, maybe, as it could be otherwise. Our ability to find peace and calm and balance is further away from us. Maybe it's harder to get to those places. And so we tend to struggle with how to really recognize that we're feeling stress and then be able to release it. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So give this a like if you're watching live, and comment replay if you're watching in the replay. That's how I know how many folks are watching and how you're watching it. Don't forget to go ahead and comment if you have any questions. We will be I will be answering those questions live if you type them in during the broadcast. So, why empaths feel stress? We just talked about that. We feel stress because things that don't belong to us invade our energy field. They invade our body. They invade our thoughts and emotions, and they don't belong to us. And we're going to talk about the steps to be able to release all of that stress, whether it is our stress that we create on our own, or stress that we gather from other people or places or experiences. So the first step is to acknowledge that it exists. So acknowledge that, okay, I'm feeling really stressed right now. I'm feeling really stressed right now. And then just stop just feeling. So we're feeling anxiety, we're feeling stress, we're feeling depression, we're feeling. And the feeling gets so big, it feels like it is managing our experience for us instead of us managing it. And then what happens is we can't hear our own thoughts. We can't hear our own judgments. We can't hear our guides and angels and assistants. And so if you can allow yourself to get into your head and say, okay, I'm feeling this. I feel this. I acknowledge that I feel it. What it does is it makes the feeling quieter, because you have to understand all of this is just information. And if we're not connecting to the information in a conscious way, then our body and our thoughts and our emotions have to activate in a big, loud way to get us to respond to those things. And so the reason that anxiety and stress and depression happen is because there are things that we are being called to address, to notice, to acknowledge, and to release or integrate, as the case may be. And so if we can quiet down all of the feeling into acknowledging that it exists, that will help put you in a place of empowerment so that you can move to the next step. So step 2 is discover if it is your stress. And this is hugely important. And this was one of the first things that I learned was, is this really mine? And what you do is you drop down into the heart space, which we've talked about before. So you've gone into your head space and you've said, okay, I'm feeling this. Now I want to discover if it's mine. So you drop into the heart space. The heart space is not a space of feeling. It is a space of neutrality. And so it's really super important that you understand that, because you're not bringing all of that stress and emotion into that heart space right now. What you're doing is you're going from your mind, okay, I feel this, into this neutral space of the heart. And then we say, is this stress that I'm feeling mine? And it's really super important for you to practice this step in the process, because if you're an empath, you can lose yourself in these feelings, which means you don't know what's yours and what's not. And so being able to drop into this neutral heart space where you can ask the question in neutrality and say, is this my stress, or does it feel like it's someone else's or outside of me? And it's going to take practice for you to discover that. And it is something that I help my clients do. So if you need help, you can let me know. So tell me in the comments if you have ever carried someone else's stress. I know I have. I did it for 40 years because I really didn't understand the difference between what was mine and what was everybody else's. I was an amplifier, which I didn't know at the time. I got everybody's stress, anxiety, whatever their feelings were that they were putting out, and I amplified them, which means that I was feeling it even bigger, louder, more strongly what they were feeling, because I'm an amplifier. And so it's important for you to understand that you're not alone if you've done this. A lot of us as empaths have been carrying other people's traumas, other people's dramas, other people's emotions, other people's thoughts, to the point where we can't distinguish whether they're ours or not. And that's why you go into that heart space. You may want to do some journaling around it, and you may want to really dig down and discover. Now, if you can't do that, if you don't know how to do that on your own, you can email me at info@yourownsoul.com. That's my direct email address, so you will get me. And we could set up a time to chat about it. Okay? So hold on. Remove. So now that you know if it's yours, what do you do next? And the big thing is to understand that if it's not yours, which it may not be, then you need to let it go. So you go into this heart space and you say, okay, I'm bringing, I acknowledge that I'm feeling all of this stress, anxiety, depression, whatever it is. I'm feeling it. I drop into this neutral heart space and I ask, is this mine? And it's like, no, gosh, this really is not mine. And so in that moment, you can say, wow, and then go back into your head and say, I acknowledge this is not mine. Therefore, I let it go. I let it go. It's not mine. You can sage yourself. You can smoke, use Palo Santo. You can use cedar. You can use sage. You can use oils, sprays. You can use salt baths. There's all kinds of things that you can use that will clear you out. And what is most important is that you really grasp that it wasn't yours. And then start really examining, and this is another time where you'll want to do some journaling, examining, holy smokes, I was carrying all this stuff that wasn't mine, and I don't want to do that anymore. And really start acknowledging how the stuff that you were carrying was impacting your experience, because it was. And in discovering how it was impacting your experience, you're going to have a better understanding of how important it is to set good boundaries. Okay? So, next. Now, if it is yours, okay, if you've gone into this heart space and you ask, is it mine or is it someone else? Nope, this is really mine. This is my stress. Ask why it's here. It has something to teach you. It has something to share with you. And so you want to make sure that you know what it is offering you. So in this heart space, you ask the questions. Okay, this stress is here. It's my stress. What is this stress trying to tell me? Gosh, it's trying to tell me that, and it could be anything. And this is where the journaling might help, because this part here, what it's trying to tell you, is in this heart space. It's not in your head. So if you start thinking about it and trying to manipulate it or trying to figure it out, you're in the wrong space. Drop down in this heart space and ask it. You're asking the stress what it's trying to offer you, what message it has for you, not your head. Okay, that's important, because the stress is a, I'm going to say this, the stress is a being on its own, an independent thing that is trying to get your attention, to teach you something, to get you to wake up to something, to give you clarity and awareness around something, to encourage you to find your empowerment around something, right? And so it is just a methodology that is going to help you move through it to the other side. Stress is never about staying in that one space. It's about making you feel uncomfortable enough so you'll deal with it. That's really what it's about. And so you have to ask why it's there and what it's offering you. Okay, next, you have to accept the lesson and let it go. So when you get finished journaling, when you understand what the lesson was, you have to really acknowledge to yourself, have I learned the lesson? And if you have learned the lesson, that's wonderful. Don't fool yourself. Don't tell yourself, oh yeah, I've learned this lesson, when you really haven't, because the stress is just going to come right back. It's going to come right back. And you're going to say, well, this process doesn't work. It's not that the process doesn't work, it's that you weren't finished with the lesson. So make sure you understand that. The lesson has to be learned in order for that stress to leave. That's just the way it works. So do whatever it is that you need to do to learn that lesson. If you need to do some prayer work, if you need to do some journaling, if you need some coaching, I offer that for my clients. It is all about you really getting clear on the lesson and whether you accept the lesson as a learning, as a teaching, as a way to be empowered, and then letting it go. And the letting it go part could be a ritual. It could be, a burning bowl. It could be, writing it down and tearing it up. It could be anything that you want it to be. But it has to coincide with the truth of, I understand now, and I'm going to live my life differently because of it. So, step 5 is when the stress tries to come back, tell it that you have already made peace with it. So this is where that stress is going to come back and see, did you learn the lesson? And if you haven't learned the lesson, then you're going to be big stressed again. You're going to be big stressed again. But if you have learned the lesson, it's going to try to come back and you're going to go, wait a minute, I'm feeling stress. Is this my stress? Yes, it's my stress. Okay, it's the stress about this other thing before that I've already released. And then you go, nope, I've already made peace with that. I feel good about understanding that lesson. I feel good about acknowledging it and being mentally aware, emotionally aware of the situation. I have chosen something different, and I'm going to move forward really empowered so that I can not have to have this cycle happen anymore. And it may take you a few times of actually mentally walking yourself through all of that, speaking it out your mouth so that you can hear it, so that you create this new alignment in a way that's going to foster everything that you want to foster with the healing that you're creating around releasing this stress. So make sure that you use your mental and emotional discipline to say, nope, I have made peace with this. I don't need it anymore. So now you know how to handle stress in general. You can find more support. And the support that I have available is I have one-on-one sessions with clients that are geared to either coaching or empowerment sessions. I have a monthly membership where we focus on the empowerment principle. I answer your questions. There's channelings that I do every month in the Living a Congruent Life training. And there's also the free group of your empowerment party. So let's see. I wanted to show you. I'm still learning how to do this system. So, okay. So your empowerment party is on Facebook. You can just type that in to the search bar. Your empowerment party, that's the free group. And that's where I do videos and there's sometimes some teachings and all of that in that fun party group so that we are encouraging each other to be fully empowered. You can download the Love Warrior Prayer, which is an empowerment prayer that Archangel Michael downloaded to me in 2016, 2017. And it is hugely supportive in being able to really understand that the empowerment that we're seeking has to go from acknowledging the truth and the love that we have for ourselves, and so that we can offer to other people. And remember to always keep your cup full first. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and click the bell to get notified when we upload new content every Wednesday. And let me know if you are liking this content, because I'm trying it out for the month of February. And if you don't like it, then I won't continue. And if you do like it, then I will. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can do that at Tamala Malay. And let's see, I'm going to stop and check. I don't see any questions at this time. So I really hope that this has been supportive for you. Again, make sure that you subscribe, hit the like button, click the bell for notifications. I will upload a mini course, mini class on Wednesday, and then do another live next Friday. And if you need any support, you can email me at info@yourownsoul.com. And that is in the description as well. You can find all the links in the description. And I hope that this has been supportive for you. Let me know in the comments if it is, and I will see you next week.